Welcome to Thoughts on Thursday. It's Reverend Miller.
And Stuart Holmes.
We're preparing to finish up the wonderful month of September with our last worship service and moving into October. The first Sunday of October, which is October 2nd, correct?
October 2nd.
Is World Communion Sunday. It's going to be an exciting Sunday. We have a guest preacher, Rodrigo. He's coming, and we're going to have different elements of bringing different cultures into the service that Sunday. But talking about this coming Sunday, it'll be the second Sunday that our choir is back. It's always wonderful to have them behind me leading us in song. And last Sunday I jumped in and helped out a little bit in the choir.
Yes.
And that made me start to think, when it comes to worship, we all have some responsibilities or roles to play when it comes to worship and planning and preparing for it. And people definitely think you and I have responsibility, right?
Oh, yeah.
Stuart better have
Toe the line.
practiced. I better have written a sermon, prepared that sermon, put a worship service together. And for instance, the choir will meet tonight for a rehearsal. They're going to rehearse and go over the hymns and go over the anthem, so they have prepared. But all of us need to prepare and be present during worship to really glorify God and to get the best from the experience. And that's one reason every week, if you don't get this email me and we'll get you on the list. I send out the weekday message with a little devotion, but then all the lectionary passages with a question to one of those passages, and then also a children's activity or question, and then morning and evening prayer to really prepare ourselves for worship, so that when I come and preach, you will have looked at those passages and maybe made up some of your own opinions, so that you can really engage in that message. But it goes beyond that too, and you're not supposed to brag, but I'm going to brag about my church a little bit. I was meeting with someone today who was a visitor in worship and just talked about how warmly they were greeted by all the people in the church, who went up to them and talked with them and said hello, asked their name, shared their name. And it's not just the pastor who should be greeting people, but the whole church. And we do a pretty nice job on that. And so, to different elements, we're all supposed to partake and be a part of it. I've joked before that sometimes in a funeral, if it's not a lot of church people, it sounds like a Rob Miller solo during the hymns. We don't want that. So, as we come to hymns, if the choir and also the congregation sings, we all come together and really worship God. So we all have a part and a role to play and to be present and to listen and prepare ourselves for worship. And I've been writing a sermon, reading the scriptures, preparing. Stuart has been practicing. The choir will practice tonight. Hopefully you at home will have a chance to look at those scriptures and prepare. And then as we come together, we'll sing together, we'll greet each other warmly and kindly. And that's the whole worship coming together. That's my thought as I think of worship this week.
I'm going to tag a little bit into that and talk about Rodrigo coming here. Rodrigo is a missionary who is serving a church in Appalachia territory and in the just outside the mountains. He is a professional guitar player, and he's going to be coming next week. We'll probably talk again about that next Thursday. But in putting together the worship service, we've been talking back and forth about the need to find out what each are doing and how we're going to merge that. Mm-hmm. And that is my step into this Sunday's worship. I played at the beginning a magnificent piece by a woman that I met at a convention a few years ago, Mary Beth Bennett, and she's done an arrangement of the tune King's Fold. And the text for that is, today we're all called to be disciples of the Lord to help set the captives free, make plowshare out of sword, to feed the hungry, quench the thirst, make love and peace our fast, to serve the poor and homeless first, our ease and comfort last. Magnificent. So as we're looking at worship, one of the things that I want to continually is to encourage congregational song. During the pandemic, it was really tough. And I heard somebody...
Especially when we couldn't even sing.
Yeah, you couldn't sing. And that was a major part of the participation of this body of Christians that come together. Why come together if we can't jointly do something together rather than just
It
sing?
became a little more passive. It
Right.
wasn't the
It was
back
definitely
and
more
forth.
passive.
Yeah.
And that was one of the tragedies of COVID-19. And as we're coming out of it, we have to relearn the part that the congregation plays in coming together. And a lot of that is hymns. And people say, well, I don't sing because I can't carry a tune in a bucket, or I don't like to sing. And my comment is, usually, God doesn't care. Look at God created this bald head. He doesn't care whether we have hair or not. Sorry. He doesn't care if you can sing or not. But the act of singing is a corporate act that brings us together and helps us unify. And then, of course, there's that other element of singing together, and that is the power of music, that it hits the heart, in addition to the poetry that I just read a minute ago. Both sides of the brain are engaged and trying to bring together this sense of we're worshiping God in thanks for many things, and hopefully working toward many different things. I talked longer than you this time. I'm sorry.
That's a surprise.
Oh, yeah.
So our theme is the body of Christ coming together in worship. And we'll see that in our worship service this coming Sunday. And I look forward to being present. I think Stuart looks forward to being present, and we look forward to seeing you either in person or live streamed on YouTube or later on Facebook. And you can be present there too. I've talked to one person in particular, and he loves the passing of the peace and the motion of it, and he's doing that to the computer while he watches. So he asked me if I could see him. I can't, but I know he's doing that. So we can participate even when we're at home. So thank you for joining us for Thoughts on Thursday. We'll see you on Sunday and then next Thursday for some more thoughts.
And we're going to end with my playing this Sunday as a postlude, Praise to the Lord, one of my favorite hymns.